What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Rambling Men Sports Podcast. Once again, it is just me this week. Tried to get James to come on, and he was not able to. None of my friends were able to come on. James obviously wasn't able to come on either. So it's just me again this week. I apologize for last week. We should have got something out, and we didn't. I was a little bit busy with school, and James couldn't come on, so I figured since it was a week off, pretty much in the NFL, they take a week off in between the championship Sunday to the Super Bowl. I figured, well, we'll just take a week off, and then I'll get to it next week, and let's see if James will come on, which he wasn't. So, got to get something out. So here I am this week, getting some content out finally for you guys. So I'm going to start things off with the NFL postseason, obviously, where we have the Patriots representing the AFC and the Rams representing the NFC, and these two will meet, obviously, in the Super Bowl. Very interesting games, both in the AFC Championship and in the NFC Championship. Number one, both games went into overtime. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw that. I couldn't tell you. This has to be for the first time ever that both conference championships went into overtime. Just trying to get my thoughts together. Shit. But yeah. So in the NFC, I'll start things off in the NFC. Obviously, a lot of hype around the no call toward the end of the game. So I believe it's been a while, but I believe the scenario was the Saints were driving and inside the red zone, and Drew Brees threw a pass to a wide receiver in the flat, and a Rams DB, I think it was Coleman Roby, whatever his name is, got there early, and it was one of those where it wasn't quite bang bang. I remember watching it live, and I kind of had to second guess myself. I was like, "Wait, did he get there early?" And I mean, replay showed that he was well early for that hit, and so obviously it was a no call. That was third down, and I believe the Saints had to kick a field goal, which hurt them later on because then the Rams drove down, kick a field goal, sent it to overtime, I believe. A lot of upset Saints fans, and rightfully so. I sympathize with them. I've obviously been on the short end of some of those calls in my lifetime, but I don't understand the complete animosity with the refs. I really don't. Well, number one, because Saints fans, you had a 13-point lead. Saints in general. Damn it, someone just texted me. All right, my friend Shannon texted me. She's clearly drunk. Anyway, recollecting my thoughts now. You had a 13-point lead. You blew it. You were the better team. You blew it. You had the better, probably offensive line. You had the better defense. You had the better run game. Todd Gurley didn't even play for the most part. And you couldn't get it done. You were up 13-0, and you were outscored 23-7 the rest of the game. And then not only that, but yes, the call really screwed you up. You could have scored a touchdown, but there's no guarantee that you might have been stuffed at the goal line. Maybe you kick another field goal. And then not only that, but in overtime, you get the ball first, and Brees throws an interception. I'm not trying to blame the game on Drew Brees whatsoever, but you had a chance to take care of business. You didn't do it. So I just, and now they're filing a lawsuit. People, come on. This is ridiculous. And Roger Goodell shouldn't have to, and I'm not a huge Roger Goodell fan, but he shouldn't have to come out and apologize for this. This is ridiculous. Bad calls happen. People make mistakes. Human error is always involved. Why does he need to make a statement? If he's not going to make a statement, which he kind of did make a statement, but he didn't say pretty much anything about the Fail Mary a few years ago between Green Bay and Seattle. This is just the first thing off the top of my head. A missed call that quite literally decided the game. At least with the Saints game, there were some, what ifs. But literally, that Green Bay Seattle game was decided on that missed call. But anyway, if he's not going to do anything like that for that game, he's not going to do anything like that for this game. So, and I think he's making the right choice. If he comes out and says, we've made a mistake, and says something along the lines of the Saints should have won that game, that is opening Pandora's box for the rest of the league. Then we're going to be needing apologies for every single bad call in sports, particularly in the NFL. But I hate that. I hate that the whole argument that, the refs blew it for us. Yes and no. Look, you had a 13-point lead. You blew it. Move on. It's not, losses happen. Sometimes you get screwed. But you know how you don't get put in that situation? Not blowing a 13-point lead. So that's the NFC. The Rams won on a walk-off in overtime after the interception in overtime. Rams weren't great in that game. But one thing that has been going really well for the Rams, and I'm going to get into my pick later in the show, but they're running the ball very well with C.J. Anderson. Jared Goff played great in the NFC Championship. I thought he wasn't getting enough credit. I remember my friend William at one point during the game saying Jared Goff is terrible. And I think he may have thrown one bad ball at that point. And I was like, they won that game because of him. He made some big-time throws late in the game. I've never understood the Jared Goff hate. I really haven't. Rams defensively played very well. That was more than I could have ever expected from the Rams defense. They pretty much shut down Michael Thomas. Alvin Kamara, I don't remember seeing Alvin Kamara with the ball in the second half. Drew Brees was having a hard time throwing the ball, and that was one thing that did concern me with the Saints offense is outside of Michael Thomas, they don't have a ton of pass catchers. I think they're relying too much on Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram for the most part to make plays. I think that's one thing they have to address this offseason is getting some more pass catchers in that offense. But that's a conversation for another day. Anyway, the Rams, you should be there. In my opinion, you should be in the Super Bowl. Congrats. In the AFC side, this was very surprising, in my opinion. I'm not surprised that the Patriots won, but if you had told me that the Chiefs were going to be held scoreless at halftime, I would have said you were crazy. Were they held scoreless? I think they were held scoreless at halftime. Then they scored 31 points in the second half. So, I never would have expected that. The Patriots defense was phenomenal the entire game. They did a really good job of taking away Tyreek Hill and making Patrick Mahomes throw to other guys. I barely saw the tight end. Travis Kelce, he made some catches, I think, in the second half, but for the most part, I don't remember seeing him. Damian Williams made some plays, but for the most part, that Chiefs offense was held in check. And 31 points, if you walk out of Arrowhead giving up 31 points to the Chiefs offense, I think you did a pretty damn good job. And I don't know, in regards to the Chiefs defense, I don't know how many times you can let one guy get wide open. 3rd and 10, every single time. It was 3rd and 10, 3rd and 10. I knew it. I was in Morgantown watching the game. I knew where Brady was going to go to the ball. It's either going to go to 11 or 87. Put two guys on them. It blows my mind. And it blows my mind how many teams want to continue to play zone coverage against Tom Brady. Makes no sense to me. He just sits back there and picks you apart the entire game. Why are these teams still playing zone coverage against him? It makes no sense. And I'm not saying the Chiefs are playing zone coverage. That's just a personal rant of mine. But the Chiefs were continuously letting Julian Edelman get wide open. Now, granted, some of them he made great catches. But Chiefs defense, what I said all season with them, their defense wasn't good enough to win the Super Bowl, and it came back to bite them because they couldn't stop Tom Brady down the stretch. And D Ford, dude, why are you so far off the ball? Why are you so far offside? Makes no sense to me. I don't know. I played defensive line in high school. I don't know how you get that offsides. You're at the professional level, dude. Like, that's, in that situation. I heard someone say this on a podcast, but in that situation, the ref doesn't want to throw a flag because the game was. I think it was third down. The game was on the line. The game was going to be decided on that play. The ref did not want to throw that flag. I promise you. And then no one had any idea it was going to be on the Chiefs. I was watching it, and all I heard was Tony Romo, who, by the way, is a fantastic broadcaster. I'm looking forward to him call the game on Sunday. Had no idea it was going to be on the Chiefs. He kept saying, I think this is a legal formation on the Patriots, and it was on the Chiefs, and then they acted like it was no big deal. But Patriots advanced to their third straight Super Bowl. I got to say, I'm very surprised to hear that. If you told me in the preseason that the Patriots were going to go to the Super Bowl, I don't want to say I would have said you were crazy, but I would have had a hard time believing it because this team, I thought in the preseason, and I thought it even showed up late in the season, or late in the regular season, I should say. I just thought they were vanilla. They didn't have a very good offensive line. They were vanilla offensively once Josh Gordon went out. I didn't think they had a very good pass rush. The best thing about this team is, Belichick, Brady, and their secondary. That's about it. Gronk didn't look like himself. Edelman's kind of been up and down, but they came through. They've dominated the last 2 weeks for the most part to get back. And now, this team looks really good. But I'll get into my pick a little bit later when I preview the game. But that's really all I had on the postseason, just to recap it. And I chewed up a good bit of time, too. That's all I have for football, really, for now. I did hear, I'm just throwing it out there, I did hear that Alex Smith may not play again. I'm not really surprised. I think I heard a rumor that he was spotted at a basketball game wearing, he had knee surgery a few weeks ago, and he's still in crutches. He's still in a brace. It's really looking like he's not going to play. In 29, he's not going to play ever again. And I'm not going to be shocked to hear that because they said it a few weeks ago, and I'm not really surprised to hear it now. So Redskins, they've kind of avoided it the last few years. We've always kind of thought Redskins need a quarterback. With the whole Kirk Cousins uncertainty, with all the franchise tags he went through to him leaving, and then they traded for Alex Smith. They've kind of avoided it the last few years, but now, you got to pick one in the first round. This is a no-brainer. Not a great first round, not a great quarterback class. I think there's about 4 guys who could be potentially really good. I would say Dwayne Haskins, Drew Lock, Kyler Murray, and I'm going to throw in my boy Will Grier anyway, just because I like him because he went to WVU, but I think he's got something to work with. Even though he doesn't he's kind of like Baker Mayfield, where he doesn't have one thing that's great. Like Haskins has the body, Drew Lock has the arm, Kyler Murray has I don't even know what you want to call it, like dynamic big play capability. Will Grier doesn't really have it. He doesn't excel at one of those things, but I think he's cumulatively good enough all around to where there's something to work with. Then the 5th guy I would say is probably Daniel Jones out of Duke. I've seen him play. I'm not sure what the hype is. And I listened to some podcasts that talk about him. If he didn't play for David Cutcliffe in college, I'm not sure we're talking about him as a first-round quarterback. But since Cutcliffe developed the Manning brothers and now this guy, he's going to get hyped for the first round, and I'm not sure he's deserving. There are other quarterbacks who could be decent, Jarrett Stidham, Ryan Finley, but I'll believe it when I see it with Stidham. I wasn't that impressed with them at Auburn, even last year when they won 10 games and beat Bama, got to the Sugar Bowl or Peach Bowl, but we'll see. That's all I have for that. Moving on to the NBA, where big news came out from New York, where the Knicks traded Kristaps Porzingis to the Dallas Mavericks. Actually, you should come up with some poll questions. I didn't do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that right here. So Poll question. I'll get to this later. Poll question. Do you think... I'm coming up with one on the spot. Do you think do you think a lawsuit should be filed in regards to the Saints no call? I'm going to say no. This is getting ridiculous. Why are courts getting involved in football games? It makes no sense to me. And then another one will be, do you think the Washington Redskins should use a first-round pick on a quarterback? Absolutely, they should. Even though, like I said, this is not a great quarterback class, they got to use one. I don't see Alex Smith playing this year, and did you see the Redskins when he went out? They were terrible, so they got to get somebody. Anyway, so back to the Knicks, or back to basketball. The Knicks, I want the Knicks to be good. I really do. I think the NBA would be so much better if the Knicks were good. And here they are trading their cornerstone piece, Kristaps Porzingis, who granted hasn't played this year, did an injury, but they trade him to the Dallas Mavericks, and shout out to my friend Andrew Holmes. He's a huge Dallas Mavericks fan, so I know he's happy about this. But they trade Porzingis to Dallas. So a little bit of details about the trade. Porzingis, Courtney Matthews, and Tim Hardaway Jr. are going to Dallas. Dennis Smith Jr., Wesley Matthews, and DeAndre Jordan, and 2 future first-round picks are going to the Knicks. I just want to strangle the Knicks. I really do. Not only are you trading Porzingis, your franchise player, a guy who should be getting your max deal after this season, you're also trading away Tim Hardaway Jr., who I think is a very good rotational player. He's a dude you would want in your backcourt. He's not an all-star, but he's a solid player. And you're trading both of them for Dennis Smith Jr., who granted is a very good young point guard. Wesley Matthews, who's okay. DeAndre Jordan is a center and has not been good in years. And 2 future first-round picks to the Knicks. And I know that the Knicks are gearing up for a big summer. They got a lot of cap space, and there's some good free agents out there. But do the Knicks legitimately think they have a shot with any of these free agents? I don't see how they do. Kyrie Irving might. I'll get to him later. I got some thoughts on Kyrie Irving. But I don't think Jimmy Butler's going to New York. I don't think Kevin Durant's going to New York. There's nothing attractive about the Knicks other than the fact that they're in New York. The Knicks, as an organization, suck. James Dolan is the one. I'd be hard-pressed to say he's the worst team owner in any of the professional sports leagues. The dude is a moron. He has been gifted a franchise on a silver platter, and he is ruining the team. He's more focused on his music career than he is the Knicks being a successful organization, which is a damn shame because the Knicks are top 3, I would argue, organization in the NBA. I mean, that's an attractive destination, but not as a player. I'm attracted to the Knicks just because I love the city of New York. There's still something that clamors when you say the New York Knicks. It seems prestigious. It's the Garden. It's New York. You know, there's something about it that just it seems attractive. But I just don't see this organization being an attractive destination to some free agents. Like I said, James Dolan is a moron. Their front office is a mess. Roster-wise, I mean, who are you gonna use to try to sway some free agents? Kevin Knox does look pretty good. Frank, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, their first-round pick a few years ago from France. He's okay, I believe. I don't know. I'm not following the NBA that closely this year. I want to say he's okay. Maybe he has a bright future. But obviously Kevin Knox is pretty good, but the Knicks are so atrocious. It's a joke, honestly. So this brings me to a poll question that I just thought of off the top of my head. Who won the trade, Knicks or the Mavericks? Mavericks. They got the players. Knicks just traded away their star player, and I highly doubt they're going to see any compensation for it. So more NBA trade news. Anthony Davis requests a trade from the New Orleans Pelicans. I gotta be telling you, this is not surprising. I mean, Anthony Davis has been carrying this organization since he got drafted in, I think, 2012 2012. I mean, he's their cornerstone piece. I was honestly shocked that he even signed with them a few years ago when he was up for a new deal, and they made him, I believe, the highest paid player in the league like 4 or 5 years ago. I was a little surprised he even stayed. I mean, the New Orleans, like the Knicks, they're not a very good organization. For a while, I believe the NBA had to take control of their ownership. Their ownership is lousy. Their front office is lousy. Outside of lucking into Anthony Davis and getting the number 1 overall pick in 2012, they haven't done anything that makes you think they know how to assemble a good team. I mean, they've been a joke outside of Anthony Davis. They've been a joke since Chris Paul left. I know they had 1 or 2 good years with Chris Paul, but they traded him away. They were lousy. They got Anthony Davis. They were still lousy. They've made the playoffs. I do know that they upset I think Portland Trail Blazers last year and got to the second round of the playoffs. But this organization's going nowhere, so I'm not shocked at all to hear Anthony Davis wants out. But a little bit more information. He was fined, I think I read $50,000 for publicly announcing his desire for a trade. That seems a little ridiculous. I think I know what the NBA is trying to do with this, but who cares? I mean, if he wants out, he wants out. I mean, what's the difference between like an agent saying he wants out, or I don't know what the difference is exactly, but like to be clear, I don't know if publicly announcing it means your agent is saying it or you're saying it. I'm not entirely sure. But what's the difference between, rumors swirling that you want out and then you get traded to, you saying, hey, I want to leave, and then you get fined? It doesn't make a ton of sense. If you're going to find someone, I feel like you should find them even if rumors are swirling, because then at that point it's public knowledge. Whether or not you've publicly admitted that or not doesn't make a ton of sense. Sorry. But anyway, Lakers are reportedly his top destination, and they reportedly are offering Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Rajon Rondo, Michael Beasley, and a future first-round pick to the Pelicans. If I'm the Pelicans, I think you got to take that. I guess they're not good. I thought they would get rid of Brandon Ingram before Kyle Kuzma. I think Kyle Kuzma's the better player. The Lonzo Ball experiment hasn't quite worked out. He was just okay last year. Hasn't improved much this year. I think his dad is a major distraction. But Rondo, I think he was already with the Pelicans a few years ago. I mean, he's just an okay player at this point. Probably not even okay. Michael Beasley's not very good. I'd be a little surprised if the Lakers got rid of Kuzma and kept Brandon Ingram. I think Kuzma's the better player. I think he provides more value than Ingram. Ingram's just a twig out there. I don't know what he can do that Kuzma can't. But if I'm the Pelicans, I think you got to take that deal. You get a promising guard, I'll say, in Lonzo Ball, a very good player in Kyle Kuzma, and then 2 veterans in Rondo and Beasley, and a future first-round pick from the Lakers. I think that's a deal you got to approve. So, poll question here: which team do you think Anthony Davis? Oh, I forgot to mention this. The Celtics are reportedly also very interested in Anthony Davis, but it doesn't look like Anthony Davis feels the same way about him, or about them, I should say. As a Boston fan, I don't really care. I'd love to have Anthony Davis with the Celtics, but if he doesn't want to come here, no skin off my ass. Celtics are going to be good regardless if he's here or not. But the only way Anthony Davis could go to Boston is if Boston trades Kyrie Irving, I believe. It might happen now that I'll get into Kyrie Irving a little bit later, but I won't be shocked at all if that happens now. So this brings me to my Super Bowl 53 preview. Hang on a sec. My computer just froze on me. Or not froze, but the screensaver popped up. So Super Bowl 53. I know last year I got into some... James and myself got into... Who, by the way, I don't have his pick. I forgot to ask him that. I don't have his pick, but I'll get that to him tomorrow. I'll text him tomorrow, surely. Or maybe Sunday, and I'll post it. But Super Bowl 53, Rams and Patriots. When we did this last year, James did a really good job of breaking down each position between the Patriots and Eagles. And basically saying, how across the board, Philadelphia had the better player at every position, better roster overall, and he picked the Eagles to win because of that. When I look at it this year, I think the same could be said for the Rams. When you look at, obviously, quarterback's a little bit obviously different. Obviously, you think Brady's better. I think Brady's better than Goff, but Rams have the better running backs. They have the better wide receivers. I'd argue a better offensive line. I would argue a better defensive line. And that's about it. I wouldn't even say better linebackers. Secondary, a little bit, not quite as good. But for the most part, it's pretty much like the Eagles and the Patriots last year. Difference is the Eagles were way better across the board at every position. Rams aren't this year. But the one thing with this game, I think it's going to be decided in the trenches. And I know everyone says that about every game. Lord knows I have said that about every game. But here's why I think that. Number one, the proven way to disrupt Tom Brady is to get a pass rush from the interior. The Eagles did it a little bit last year with Fletcher Cox and Timmy Jernigan. They disrupted him enough to where I know he played fantastic in the Super Bowl, but they did enough to win the game. But the game before that, Calais Campbell just ate the interior of the Patriots' offensive line up the entire game. So basically, if you can get pressure from the interior, you're going to get to Brady. You're going to be able to disrupt him because he's not going to be able to escape the pocket. And the Rams have a very good interior of the defensive line with Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh and Michael Brockers. I could see the Rams potentially dominating up front defensively. I don't see a guy on New England's offensive line that can stop Aaron Donald. I really don't. I don't see who's going to stop him. And Aaron Donald is by far the best defensive player the Patriots, I think, have faced in a Super Bowl. I'll have to think about that, but I don't think the Rams had anyone in Super Bowl 36. Okay, the Panthers did have Julius Peppers in Super Bowl 38, but Eagles, no one as good as Aaron Donald in 39. The Giants didn't have anyone as good as Aaron Donald in the 42nd or Michael. Okay, I forgot about Michael Strahan. So, all right, I was wrong. There have been some good defensive linemen that the Patriots have faced, but I still stand by. I think Aaron Donald might be the best one they faced in a Super Bowl. And then Ndamukong Suh is obviously very good, so they can try to take away Donald away, and I'm sure Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick will try to do that. But you also have Suh and Brockers there in the interior that can disturb the Patriots' offense. Those two are going to be key because I do think the Patriots will try to take Donald out of the game, double team him, anything they can, and rely on Suh and Brockers to make plays. And we'll see if they can do that. One more thing, another thing, about the Patriots' defense, they did an incredible job of getting an interior pass rush against the Chiefs. And that really disrupted the Chiefs' offense. And I look at that, and I'm like, if they can do that with the Chiefs, they can easily do that with the Rams. Because the Rams' biggest weakness, I should say offensively, is the interior of their offensive line. It's not bad, but it's not great. There's definitely a weakness there. And earlier in the year, or toward the later part of the year, But a few weeks ago, the Rams were going through a bit of a struggle, and that was because teams were dominating them in the interior of in the trenches. The Rams' interior offensive line just was struggling for a few weeks, and I think the Patriots could get it done again this week. They did it with the Chiefs in a matchup where I'm not sure they had the better players. In that matchup, I should say. I think the Chiefs' interior offensive line is usually better than the Patriots' interior of their defensive line. But they still managed to get pressure. They made Mahomes escape the pocket and make plays down the field. And he made some, but for the most part they didn't. They took away Tyreek Hill. I think Bill Belichick is going to be able to do the same. The Rams aren't good enough in the interior. They're going to make Jared Goff escape the pocket, and he's not nearly as mobile as Patrick Mahomes. They're going to take away the big play guy, which is Brandon Cooks, and rely on Robert Woods to make plays. And I think Robert Woods is a great receiver, but you got to have the home run ball, and Brandon Cooks is the home run ball in the Rams offense. And I think I think Belichick's gonna take him away. I really do. So anyway, when it comes to my pick for this game, there's a part of me that says take the Rams because, like I said, similar to the Eagles, they're better at almost every single position on the field than the Patriots. Really, outside quarterback and in the secondary. I'm not going to do it, though. And I got another text message. I'm not going to do it, though, because the last two games in the postseason for the Patriots, I have looked at them and said they're not as good as the other team. I did it with the Chargers. They kicked the Chargers' ass. The next week, I was like, Kansas City's too good offensively. They got too much creativity on offense. They're too dynamic. They're going to be able to outscore the Patriots. They didn't do it. So I was proven wrong again. I'm tired of being proven wrong. I think the Patriots are just red hot right now. They got the run game going. Brady's getting the ball out. And then another thing with the Rams defense, number one, I don't think they're deep enough. I don't think they have a deep enough team. I said in the preseason that was my biggest problem with them. I didn't think they had a deep enough roster. They're very top heavy. And then defensively, they're not very deep on defense. They have a great defensive line. They got some playmakers in the secondary. Aqib Talib is good, but he's aging. Who's the free safety? LaMarcus Joyner's pretty good. Marcus Peters is good, but I think he might struggle in this game. I really do. Bottom line, I don't think the Rams defense, can stop the Patriots run game. I think Sony Michel and Rex Burkhead, James White are going to have big games in the Super Bowl, and I don't think the Rams defense is going to be able to cover Julian Edelman. They could put LaMarcus Joyner on them, or Nickel Roby. Roby, I think is his right name. I don't think they can cover him. And I think Gronk is going to make some plays. I think Edelman's going to make... I don't think the Rams are going to be able to slow down the Patriots offense. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, though. But I am going to take the Patriots to win 28-24. I didn't even look at the spread, honestly. I didn't look at the spread or the over-under, so I'll have to see. I think I'm right. I believe I read that the over-under is about 52. And I think I'm right at that, roughly. And I think the spread was New England -2, so I think I have the Patriots winning and covering. But yeah, I'll get James's pick either tomorrow or Sunday. I'll get that and post it on social media. Did I do... Yeah, I don't think I did a poll question. So for Anthony Davis, which team do you think he's likely to be with after the trade deadline? I'll say. I'm gonna say the Lakers. I think Magic Johnson's gonna try anything he can to get Anthony Davis to the Lakers, because I know a lot of people think, look, he wants to go to the Lakers. Why give up anything? Wait until the offseason and just pay him. That way you don't have to give away any assets. Well, here's the problem with that. Because how many times have I heard everyone, the last 2 off seasons, I feel like this dude wants to play for the Lakers. This dude wants to play for the Lakers. Paul George being one of them. Like, oh, if you trade for him, you're just renting him. He's going to sign with the Lakers in the next offseason anyway. And he doesn't. He signs an extension with Oklahoma City. And then last year, I heard it was Kawhi Leonard. Granted, Kawhi Leonard wasn't a free agent. But all I heard was how he wants to join the Lakers. Now I hear all Anthony Davis wants to do is join the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers should wait because they got fooled with Paul George. They might get fooled with Kawhi Leonard. And who knows, Anthony Davis might want to go somewhere else. Just don't be duped. Don't just bank on the fact he's going to be available and you're going to be able to sign him. Things change over time. Just go ahead and trade for him now. Like, you don't need Ball. You don't need Kuzma. You don't need Rondo. You don't need Beasley. Probably not even a first-round pick. You got LeBron. Go get a stud in Anthony Davis. You're probably not going to be great in the Western Conference anyway. Get Anthony Davis. Get eliminated in the second round. Go get some more studs. Revamp for next year. That's what they should do. And I don't see him with the Pelicans after the trade deadline. I think they will try to get rid of him. And then the Celtics might, I don't know. Like I said, I'll get into that later. Or in a little bit here. Super Bowl 53 preview. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Patriots or Rams? Like I said, I think the Patriots are going to get it done. I don't trust the Rams defense. I think it's too top heavy, not enough depth, not enough linebackers, not enough of an edge rushing presence. You got to be able to get to Brady. And while they do have it in the interior, you got to have it on the edge too, and I don't think the Rams can do it. So that just about wraps it up for me with topics. So now I'm going to get to my final thoughts, which are on Kyrie Irving. Look, I've never really been a huge Kyrie Irving fan. I've always been kind of indifferent toward him. Didn't have a problem with him other than the fact he went to Duke. I don't like people that go to Duke. But he went to Duke, got in the NBA, didn't really have a problem with him, did well with the Cavs, won a championship with LeBron. I really don't care. Comes to the Celtics, I'm like, all right. I don't like the guy, don't hate the guy. I'm indifferent toward him. But ever since he got to the Celtics, he's kind of been weird. He thinks the earth is flat. Then he wants to get traded. Or not traded. Then he's talking about potentially signing elsewhere in, the offseason. And he recently said that he doesn't owe anyone, I think, shit was the right word, in the Boston front office in terms of a re-sign. So I just want to tell Kyrie Irving to shut up. And I think it might be time for Boston to consider trading him. If you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said you were insane. But with Anthony Davis on the table, and the only way to get him is getting rid of Kyrie Irving, who has been nothing but a distraction this season. He has commented more than once about signing elsewhere in the offseason. I think his mind is elsewhere. I think he's distracted. He might be a problem in the locker room. And I think that might be a factor into why the Celtics haven't been playing as well as everyone thought they were going to be this year. So I think it's time for Danny Ainge to look back and think, I might be able to get rid of this guy. Because you get rid of him, get Anthony Davis. You got a good backup point guard in Terry Rozier. Then you got Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, then potentially Anthony Davis, even though he might not be there next year. But I think it's something you might want to consider. Because I'm not sure if this attitude keeps up with Kyrie Irving, I'm not sure I want him back next year. So that's just my final thoughts. Sorry. I just wish Kyrie Irving would shut up. I really do. Just play ball, man. Just play ball. Stop thinking about the future. Just go out there, play ball. And he's been kind of an ass lately with the Celtics organization. I'm kind of getting tired of it. So that will do it for me. I'm right at 40 minutes, which is perfect. But yeah, that'll do it for me. Y'all, like I said, had to do this by myself. James, hopefully we'll be back next week. I can't make any promises though. We talked about it just yesterday, I believe, how we're trying to do better with the show. Obviously, we've kind of been slacking in the last few months, and I did have a conversation with him this week about how we wanted to do a better job for you guys, and we're going to try. He said how he wants to devote more time to the show. I've said how I want to make content better. We're going to try. Just schedules that haven't lined up so far. So anyway, hopefully he'll be back next week. I fully plan on having a Super Bowl recap, full Super Bowl recap with him. So we'll see. Maybe if the Patriots win, we'll get some of our Patriots friends to come on. So that'll do it for me. Y'all have a great weekend. See you next week.